Do you see the record button?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going.
All right.
Hi, my name is Carolyn. I'm here on behalf of WICB, accompanied by Corey Loveless. How you
What's
doing,
up?
Corey?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm actually really excited to talk about your most recent release, For Anyone, a 2020 project. Congratulations on releasing it.
Thank
And
you.
it's a cool project, a testament to a lot of different things, like your inner demons or daily struggles or just your love for music. So I'm excited to dive into it with you.
Same.
All right, so I kind of want to start us off with actually the cover, because it's the first thing that you see when you check out the album. So it definitely captivates me. Um, just as a music listener, the album cover is really important for me. So I kind of wanted to gauge how important it was for you and what that art was like to make. So my first question would be the yellow background. I feel like it's kind of an obvious way to start us off here. You've accepted yellow into your repertoire. I would like to know what that symbol's all about.
So thank you for asking this because I feel like I haven't gotten a chance to explain this deeply. So my first couple of projects, when I did like kind of like the four project run of like 2019, when I dropped The Things That Trouble Me, Carpe Diem, Bright, and then Sunsets, that was like a series of albums that I created as like a step-by-step plan to deal with depression. So I'm addressing in The Things That Trouble Me, the problems. Carpe Diem, I'm trying to fix them. Bright, I'm trying to focus on the bright side and find the happier things in my life. And Sunsets Over Burning Cities is trying to take the good with the bad and come to terms with everything. So the first two projects, you notice it was black and white, then it went into color, then it went yellow, and we stuck with the yellow because the yellow is like sunshine getting out of that dark place. So that's just kind of my color.
Beautiful. And for anyone, this 2020 project, the cover is a bunch of faces, a bunch of anyone's. Uh, First off, I want to know where that inspiration came from, who made it. Tell me all about it because it's a really interesting cover.
So originally, obviously Process produced the project, so he has a huge, effect in how I think of like album artwork, everything he has input and all that stuff. Originally, I came to him and I was like, I'm thinking about calling this project For Anyone Who Listen. And he was like, nah, just cut it short, For Anyone. And I was like, word. So I've had a huge thing with like surrealist art. I really like as a kid who in college went for graphic design. Um, I've just like had a huge influence with like surrealist artwork. Like even Sunsets, it was a surrealist artist out of I believe Los Angeles. This person I believe is in the Netherlands, and I found them on Instagram. And just my passion of artwork, find pages that I enjoy, and I choose to donate to them and get artwork from artists that I enjoy. So this is a surrealist artist out of the Netherlands that I really enjoy that I chose to have make this artwork. And I wanted her to structure it so people could kind of like see themselves in all the faces. But it was just like a testament to the fact that this project is so diverse in topic. And I feel like I want people to relate to the things that I'm talking about, see themselves in the album, see themselves in me. So that was the idea for that.
For sure. I liked it because it definitely came across that way too. You see a whole bunch of faces. You see the title is For Anyone, and you're like, okay, for me. But you talk about process producing this project. I love to hear a little bit louder all the time. Like I was so happy
Yes.
that you guys really worked on this together. What was it like to work with? He's really like your counterpart. What was it like to work with him on this project?
Well, we're roommates, so I'm actually currently in the studio that we have built together. He's like sleeping in the other room. So the process of making this, no pun intended, but the process of making this project has been just, two good friends with like a love of hip hop just coming in a room. And I would like, I really wanted to make like an old school vibe hip hop project, and Ryan has never really done that before. So we just kind of went crate digging online, finding samples that we really enjoyed, like building beats with him. Watching him do it was like super inspiring and entertaining. But I mean, he's helped me make all of my past projects. So he fully produced Bright and he fully produced Sunsets. But this one, now that we're like actually in an apartment together, I was able to like have a little bit more say in like what was going into the beats because I was there with him most of the time. So I guess I was able to just go more in depth with things and really craft the sound that I wanted for this project.
Yeah, it definitely has an interesting sound to it. Very complex production, I will say, which is something that I really like from Process. And it was cool to hear your complex lyricism, these complex stories over these really beautiful beats. I mean, I gotta hand it to you. I really, really did like this project, and I've listened to it a few times, and it very, very. I try to pay attention to detail, and it kind of changes every time. It's quite nice.
Thank you.
Um, but I do want to start getting into some different themes of the album. But first, while we're on the production side, and me complimenting your story style, I did want to compliment IEP. I want it to be known that's my favorite song, both lyrically and production wise. They're incredible. But I really thought it was such an interesting story to hear, how it was to be diagnosed with ADHD and receiving your individual educational program, your IEP. And then talking about those experiences, how they affected your learning style, and then how that affected the way you grew up to view learning, how you grew up being viewed. I kind of want you to dissect that song because I feel like that song is like a true pivot point. And also, if you want to talk about the placement within the whole project of that song, because I thought it was placed strategically, in my opinion.
It was, and we had thought about a few different placements for the song. Originally, when I made it, I had thought of it as an intro, and then uh, once we made spaceships, I was like, no, spaceships is too perfect. We have to have that as the intro. And Ryan and I put it together to like really structure it as like this ending point to like the more I guess somber section of the album, because you notice right after that it's just boom, me and Alonzo going insane for like a few tracks, and it goes into the more hype section of it. But as far as growing up with like ADHD and why I chose to write that song, I I feel like people have a misunderstanding as to what ADHD actually is. They think that it's not a real thing, or that um, it's just hyperactivity or kids will grow out of it, but it affects a lot of different things. It's quite literally an imbalance in the brain, and it was explained to me uh, by a doctor when I was looking for a better explanation as to how I was feeling. That it's not so much of a lack of attention; it's a lack of being able to choose what you can focus on. So we have two types of focus, like I guess that they identify. So there's voluntary and involuntary attention. Um, and I bet like you're in college, so after you finish um, an essay, you feel drained, probably tired, because you're expending chemicals to focus on that for an extended period of time. People with ADHD have less of that. But we also have the ability to hyper focus on things that we find extremely interesting. So like for me, music has always been like a huge focus. I would go like to the Saturday sessions at TC3 and literally forget to eat for like, you know, 12 hours working on music. So I just wasn't able to, you know, choose what I could focus on as a kid. And that struggle and learning that I wasn't, you know, like dumb for that or lazy for that is was a very eye-opening thing.
Actually brings me perfectly into something that I wanted to talk to you about as a just a theme that I had picked up on throughout the entire project is uh, moving around, literally, you know, you moving around, but your brain being hyperactive and moving around and running away. You know, spaceships talked about that, running talked about that as well. So I kind of wanted to connect all of those themes to kind of the whole overarching belief and your interest of music and you know how much peace of mind you found with creating music and you know the serenity and the stillness that you can actually finally you know be one with what you're making, just be present in the moment and you know get down to it. I wanted you to talk a little bit about what that realization was like, you know, to have a hyperactive life, a hyperactive mind, and then find something in this world that can keep you focused.
Um, that's a very good question, actually. So my family was military, so I moved every 3 years. So I talk a lot in this project about how difficult it was to, you know, build relationships and get close to people. As you know, me living in upstate New York, I came here my junior year. This is the longest I've ever stayed in any area, anytime. I literally don't remember kids that I went to middle school with. Um, I've never had that experience of being able to, you know, of community. So one consistent, as my father being a DJ in my entire life, has been music. So as a kid, I would find I have a lot of anxiety issues, so I would find, you know, music would soothe me. And as I started, you know, getting deeper into like my mental health issues as I went through in high school and middle school, after moving around so much and never really feeling like I had a community, a group, a friend group that I could identify with, I use music and writing as a way to um, cope with that and express myself. It was just kind of like the way I could vent when I had no one.
I mean, you discussed throughout the project the therapeutic nature of music making and writing, and you know, even now, coping with depression and coping with the world's anxieties and in your own mind's anxieties. You know, just using it as a tool to, and an outlet, truly to kind of escape what's going on in here or out there. It's just you know in front of you. And something that I really really spoke to me was I saw you perform a song at the Purpose is Calling a few months ago. It was Running, the second track
Mhm.
of the project. And something that hit me then, and then hit me again when I was re listening, was the complexity of the hook at the end of the song. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. Um, because your voice gets kind of solemn. Um, and the beat changes, it gets like slower and more intense, and it lets you kind of breathe over your voice. um and you say hard feelings on loose leaf, let the pen bleed and try to find a new me. And I think you know for who's ever listening right now, you just have to listen to that song and get to the end of it, because it truly is, you know, I think people can take it for themselves. But I'm taking it how I'm taking it. And I definitely felt like you know, beat changes, it gets a little slower, and your voice like gets lower too, and you, I think like this is the whole point of everything, you know, is this is the therapeutic, my therapeutic outlet. And I just wanted to tell you, ask you rather. Well, I want to tell you that I really like that song, but I want to ask you, I want to ask you, you know, you say that you trying to find a new you know, like what have you discovered from making music? Maybe even just narrowing it down a little bit. What have you discovered from making this project about yourself?
Oh my God, so much. I really use music as a way to process that. That whole song was written shortly after an argument that my girl and I had about how cold I am as a person, um, and how open I can be in music with uh, strangers, how I can pour out all of this to a crowd, but to the people who are closest to me, um, I have a hard time talking about the same things. Um, so even in that song, it just helped me, I guess, process through um, critiques other people are telling me about my personal character, and try to figure out how to grow and be a better person. I also just learn a lot about myself through like writing out these traumatizing stories, and music helps me process through them, understand new behaviors that I've learned from those situations, and learn to be better, you know.
I wanted to kind of pivot from that a little bit, because I feel like I'm asking you a lot about, you know, what you're learning from everything, and how music has helped you kind of evolve, both to be like more health minded and just kind of stay on this planet and keep making music, you know. But
Yeah.
I did want to kind of take it a little bit more personal toward, you know, what's your favorite part of this project? Like, how do you want this to evoke people?
um I think my favorite part of this project is it goes against the grain. There's really no hook, no song structure, and a lot of these, and that's very different, and it can be off-putting for people. But I hope that if people digest what I'm saying, um, and really take in everything that's on the project, they can learn not only something about me, but relate to it and learn something about themselves. And that's the whole point of the project. Is not only is it for me, but it's for you, for anyone.
For anyone. Well, Corey, do you have anything else you want to add about the project, just where you could find it, or anything else that you want people to really listen into when they check it out?
um, you can find it on all streaming services. You can follow me on all social medias at Loveless underscore 136. Um, there will be a music video dropping in the next week to Belief. And other than that, nothing really.
Well, thanks for taking the time to chat about it with me today. Congratulations again on releasing it. It's a very great project, so definitely check it out if you like Corey and you like good music.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.